Again, a very good morning to everyone. Right. So I welcome you all on this special session for Indian Forest Services 2022 interview appearing candidate. Right. So sir has been also mentoring a lot of students for forest services, and also we have been getting a lot of requests for a lot of questions on these themes. Right. Tiger conservation, the ongoing cheetah project, and in general about human wildlife interactions. Right. So, in this context, Rajnish sir was kind enough to spare some time for us and present here. Right. So, just introducing sir briefly, Rajnish sir is presently Deputy Director at Pench Tiger Reserves in Madhya Pradesh. Sir is a very highly experienced forest officer and a wildlife expert from Madhya Pradesh. And sir is also has been mentoring, students for Indian Forest Services as well as other forest service posts from quite some time, right? You can all tap into his experience and his insights on various issues. So I welcome you, sir. Thank you for coming. And sir, I think I have also received few questions on Telegram on our interview support group from a lot of students. So I have tried to compile them here. I could not do it very organic. I could not organize it in a very logical manner because I just did it few minutes ago. So maybe sir, we can discuss on these lines, and then we will open the floor for other students to ask few more questions, right? So
yeah, this will be good.
Okay, sir. So, sir, I can start the session by asking, sir, I would like to ask this question number 15 first, because like a lot of students, even those who are appearing for the next year, they need clarity that, in your opinion, sir, who should all join Indian Forest Services, right? What should be the criteria to judge ourselves? So this is one of the question, and another question is, sir, that the common is like, what is the mandate of Indian Forest Officer? What we actually do in the field and in the office. So what is actually the work of Indian Forest Officer, and who all, in your opinion, are suitable to join the service?
So I'll first answer your question number 15, that who should join, or what are all criteria which makes a forest officer a successful forest officer. So one thing, you should be, somebody who love jungle, who love being away from the chaos of the city life. And so somebody who is, very pro for clubbing and a lot of socialization. So those type of officers normally find forest job very difficult, because forest job is all about being in jungle. And unless you love jungle and the wildlife, you're not going to be a successful officer. That is one, thing. The second thing which is very important is, the forest department give you opportunity, almost like a district collector, to do everything. So if you have engineering knack, we have something to do. If you are more inclined towards the sociological aspect of, development, there are things to do. And if you are interested in botany, or if you are interested in pure sciences, research, so you name it, even very far-flung thing like a hospitality. So this gives you a very vast opportunity. So if you want to do multiple things at a time, I think this is the job. And then the second part of your question was what is the mandate of forest department? So in simple lines, to protect, the wild and wilderness of our country. That's the mandate of the forest department. But to achieve this goal, you need to do 20 odd things. So you need to do a lot of protection activity. So when the protection aspect come, it automatically adds the policing aspect. So we do lot of policing in the forest. Then our forests are deteriorating because of there is a huge biotic pressure on them. So the only way out to reduce the biotic pressure, to provide livelihood opportunities to the neighboring communities. So that's how the role of a pure society development kind of work comes into picture. And to achieve these two things, you need to create a kind of infrastructure. So all kind of civil engineering come into picture. And to achieve all this goal, you have a very big manpower with you. So the aspect of human resource management enters automatically into this. So I think briefly, I think these are the mandate. And if you have temperament to do these many things at one time, and also one thing, you have to sacrifice a lot of your family time. So that is also something very important. And yeah, so this is all, I guess.
Okay, sir. Sir, like to now to start with from the tiger conservation, from where we get a lot of questions. So, sir, like there was a question from a student that in around in 2000s, from some of the tiger reserve, tiger almost vanished and it became a media headline. But so, sir, what was the reason for that? And now presently we are reading in terms of tiger conservation. So, how we have overturned that situation?
So I'll take you little further behind. So just think of the post-independence phase, the time when tigers were merely an object for your entertainment, and government of Madhya Pradesh and so many other governments were inviting people for hunting tigers, and you have to pay a license fee and you can hunt. And this scenario lasted till 1972, till the Wildlife Protection Act come into picture. So prior to that, either tigers were kind of a rogue element inside the village, and that's why the princely kings and all used to go there and hunt them, or maybe just for the fun sake. Even when it comes to the management of the forest, there was something called the shooting blocks. So a portion of forest was managed in a format that the shooting opportunity can be provided to the one who want to do that, and there was a fee for the same. Then post Wildlife Protection Act phase, we started protecting our wildlife, and all those permissions were we stopped giving all those permission. But still it was there in the temperament of everyone that you can hunt animal. And I'm 72 born, and from 72 up till 80s or even 90s, I've seen even government officials and everybody was used to go for hunting. And obviously when everybody was hunting, so that was one problem. The population was declining. All of a sudden during 90s, there was a huge commercial demand from China and other eastern countries. So a lot of poaching started happening in commercial way, and the tiger population and other wild animal population also started declining. So this 90s were more detrimental, because if you will do anything in commercial proposition, so the rate of decline was very fast. And but by the time we realize in 10-12 years that all these stuff is going to China and Tibet and even the eastern market for all these traditional Chinese medicine, by the time we realized, it was too late. And I joined the forest department in 97, and I realized in our training curriculum all these stuff were started incorporated, that there are some traditional hunter communities, they've been utilized to hunt and poach tiger. And when we joined in field, we started doing some very niche operation to keep check on all these poaching and everything. Also then during that time also we realized that there is a huge role of a community for protection. Policing alone will not going to save. So the concept of JFM also introduced during sometime 90s only. So on one side the population was declining fast, and on another side we have started adding these new things. But by the time all these new things we should start doing in full in full speed, already this happened, Panna happened, and population declined too very significantly. But I think the start of this millennium, we realized that where are the gaps. So the gaps were, first, as I said, our protection was not in very good shape. So Madhya Pradesh alone, between 2002 to 2006-7, some 6,000-7,000 forest guard been deployed. So just imagine that many posts were vacant. Then Also, we realized that we require many lady officers in our department. So Madhya Pradesh though did 30% reservation for all women, in all the services, including the forest service. So now Madhya Pradesh has a huge number of lady forest guard and ranger and, lady officer at all the rank. Also, we realized we need to do a lot of work with the community. So we started doing new things. One initiative was, all the tourism money which we generate, first thing that doesn't go to government exchequer, that remain with the park, and 33% of that goes to community for the community welfare work. So all these, small work we started, and that is how we could manage to arrest this decline of the tiger population. And when finally Panna happened, we also realized we need to do something in a proactive manner. And there the Madhya Pradesh, started doing animal translocation. We started with tiger. Now we have done gaur, we have done barasingha, we have done spotted deer, blue bull and whatnot, spotted deer, black buck also. So I think all these initiatives put together, there was a significant change in policies also. So put together everything, the population again started building up. And now Sariska also, people sometimes call it a failure, but it is not failure as such. It is not as successful as Panna, I can say. So Panna, from zero now, it has about 60-70 tiger Panna landscape has, whereas Sariska is still struggling with 20 to 30 tiger, maybe a little more. So it is not as successful as Panna, but definitely it's not a failure.
All right. And sir, like we have done so good in conservation in last 2 decades that some of the media reports now start talking about that we are nearing the carrying capacity of tigers, and a lot of students quote this, this statement media in the mock interviews also.
So first thing, I would like to state that till date, yes, nobody has ever attempted to calculate the carrying capacity of wild animal in any of the forest area. At least it is not known to me. And I do a lot of interaction with scientists of Wildlife Institute of India and otherwise also. So best of my knowledge, till date, no study been carried out to calculate the carrying capacity. The only carrying capacity we calculate till date is the tourism carrying capacity of the tiger reserve, not the tiger carrying capacity of the tiger reserve. This is first and most important thing. Then, again, I'm from Madhya Pradesh, so I can, give you statistics of Madhya Pradesh very easily, but I would, suggest all of you, those who have time, to go to the 2014 report of All India Tiger Estimation. In that particular report, it has mentioned the potential tiger area of each of the state. Okay. So as per the 2014 report, the total forest area of Madhya Pradesh is 94,000 square kilometer. Roughly 72,000 square kilometer is a potential tiger area. Whereas in 2014, the tiger presence was only in 15,200 square kilometer. So still, 4 times area was kind of devoid of any tiger. Now our estimation is in 2018, and I'm not even hoping that 2022 report will bear this data. But our estimate is we have about 30 to 35,000 square kilometer area has tiger presence. But still we are halfway. Same, I'm aware about Karnataka. Karnataka has about 36,000 square kilometer area as a potential tiger area. And in 2014, they have only 15,800 square kilometer tiger presence. So we are, if you talk about carrying capacity, first thing, there is nothing like, till date, nobody has calculated, but at least whatever data available, still there is a lot of potential to increase the number of tiger in these, empty forest. So like, many of the tiger reserve have very less number of tiger reserve as compared to the potential of tiger they can bear if they have a good habitat and, prey species and other component which a tiger required to survive. But now, to best of my knowledge, all the tiger reserve, they are, doing a lot of experience sharing, and everybody is learning new things. So I'm hoping in days to come, tiger number will further increase. And yeah, we are far away from reaching to the saturation. But having said that, there is a lot of tiger-centric conflict, not because there is some saturation at some of the place. The reason of conflict is something altogether different. Okay. And now I think I'll complete, Mayank, why this, tiger conflict is there everywhere. So mainly the tiger conflict is there because all our tiger reserves are not very big. If you'll make comparison, Kruger is almost 20,000 square kilometer. Our Kanha is 900 square kilometer. And we consider Kanha to be a big tiger reserve. So most of our tiger reserve are 5, 6, 700 square kilometer as their core area. And and all of the tiger reserve had good number of villages next to them. And often these villagers also venture inside the tiger reserve. If you will see the statistics of human deaths by tiger or cattle killed by tiger, the proportion of cattle kill or human death by tiger inside the tiger reserve or inside the forest area is much, much higher. So it's not that the tiger is venturing into your area. You are venturing into their area. And few of those, attempts are fatal.
Yes, sir. Like continuing the same thing, like a lot of students often use the term man-eater tiger. So, sir, is there anything like man-eater tiger or man-eating leopard? Sir, are we on the menu of tiger, the humans?
So, first, as per the law, there is nothing like man-eater tiger. And as per the behavioral ecology, to me, there is nothing like, man-eater tiger. So, briefly, I'll tell you, a tiger require about 8 to 10 kgs of meat per day. So, in a year, it requires somewhat like 3,500 to maybe 3,600 or 700 kgs of meat, per year. And if you'll convert that into spotted deer's weight, so it will be 60 to 70 spotted deer a year. Just imagine a tiger which, at his 8th year of age, kills one human being or sometime two. How can you say that to be a man-eater? It is just an accident due to some or other reason. And the law says that if any tiger is threat to human life, then, it can be captured. Though the capturing is also defined as a hunting. So the act says that hunting permission can be issued by the Chief Wildlife Warden, but he should not be killed until unless the Chief Wildlife Warden is of opinion that no other remedy is left. So definitely there is nothing like man-eater tiger. And with all the due respect to all those, old writers, I always say they were justifying their hunting to name a tiger, to name a tiger as a man-eater tiger. But in 27 years of my service, I haven't come across a man-eater tiger. Yes, I have come across a couple of accidents. At some time, the man or woman, they were very careless and they entered inside the forest. Or at times, maybe a tiger was very hungry, it was very desperate. So, वो मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ कि वो महाराणा प्रताप ने घास की रोटी खाई थी, बट अब हमें हमेशा घास को देख के रोटी खाने की इच्छा नहीं होती है. It was under desperation. बट वो बहुत रेयर होता है. एंड वेरी occasionally कभी हुआ होगा कि a tiger has killed a human and then eaten up also. But this is very rare. And definitely, I would not like to use this term as a man-eater tiger. There's nothing like man-eater tiger.
Okay, sir. And sir, last question on this tiger conservation from all the question I got is, sir, that apart from the majesticness, why, like a lot of people say that why there is too much focus on tiger conservation? What, like overall benefit it serves?
So, बड़ी सिंपल सी बात है. हम इकोलॉजी में जानते हैं कि there is something called apex predator, and it's just a charismatic species, and we just name a tiger so that we don't need to name another 50 species or maybe more than that, those who are dependent on tiger. So if you have to protect a tiger, you need to protect a lot of herbivores, and if you are protecting a lot of herbivores, so you have to protect a lot of food for them. And if you protect a lot of food, so there will be a lot of water there. And if there will be a lot of water, then there will be a lot of aquatic animal and the ecosystem. So it's just a misnomer that there is over emphasis on tiger. Again, I'll quote an example from Madhya Pradesh. Proudly we say that we are tiger state, but leopards are also getting benefited. And leopard number is also 3,421, 2018 estimate. And Ghadial also we have maximum number, vultures also. So even if we can be blamed that our management is over tiger centric, but all these species getting benefit. And you see Kanha being a tiger reserve managing tigers, but the real beneficiaries are the swamp deer, which are endemic to Madhya Pradesh and Kanha, and their population in 1970 was merely 60. And from 60 now, Kanha alone, we have 1200, then about 200 in Satpura, and about 20-25 in Van Vihar. So ये एक misnomer ही है कि we are over emphasizing on tiger. No, we are using the name of tiger, but we are managing the habitat, and all the species, those who are using those habitat, they are getting benefited.
Okay, sir. Sir, like there are also presently the Cheetah projects is going on, so that there is a lot of curiosity and for this project also. So can you give your insight on this? Like, what are the difficulty in this project? And so recently there were reports of death. So was this something unexpected, or is it like part of the project, or it is something we anticipated?
But ma'am, before that, if anybody has any tiger-centric question, I think 1 or 2 questions we can take, then we can switch over to Cheetah. So okay. I think
Ankita has raised.
Ankita, you may ask, please.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Ankita.
Yeah, good morning, Ankita, please.
Yes, sir. So you mentioned, sir, about Panna Tiger Reserve and Sariska Tiger Reserve. So, sir, I wanted to know the particular reasons why Sariska Tiger Reserve still have 25 tigers. What are the particular reasons about that? And Panna has approximately 70-75 tigers.
So one reason,
because as far as I know, the reintroduction happened at approximately the same time.
Yeah, that's right, Ankita. Both the introduction started just in a gap of 3 months, and Sariska was prior to Panna. But to whatever knowledge I am having, but I think you need to read a little about this. But 2 reasons I can say. Sariska still has a lot of disturbance. So there is a temple inside, and still every week thousands of people enter. And and Panna, fortunately, we made it completely inviolate. There is no disturbance, nothing like that. So that is one aspect. And in terms of prey density also, Panna has much better prey density than Sariska. So these 2 reasons coming to my mind instantly, but there may be a few more reasons, and we need to read on that.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Sir, there is another question which was asked yesterday only, that it is specifically related to Satkoshia Tiger Reserve. So like somebody is saying that there is a failure of tiger relocation in Satkoshia. So if there is such failure, should we do this program again there or not? Something like that.
So yes, unfortunately, Satkoshia failed. Satkoshia failed because everybody thought that Panna happened in very easy manner. So maybe the officials were not that prepared, and some of my friends were there when the vet from the Madhya Pradesh, those who took the animal there, and they were also very skeptical of the preparation over there. So yeah, there was some shortcomings, but look, all these conservation related initiative, one must understand that they have a very long gestation period. That is one, and they have a very high failure rate. Again, give you one example from Madhya Pradesh. When we started protecting and conserving Barasingha in Kanha, the number was 60 only, or 66 in 1970. When the number increased to a bit, they tried first to introduce them to Bandhavgarh. And whatever number being shifted to Bandhavgarh, all died. Then they said, oh, Bandhavgarh is very far, so next time we'll attempt to shift them to Subkhar. They sent few after. The first was, I think, in 80s, and second attempt was in 90s. And 90s, when they shifted Barasingha, all died. So, but doesn't mean we didn't stop there. We learned from our failure what was going wrong, and then we learned this technique of South Africa. Though South African don't call it a Boma technique, we Indian call it a Boma technique. They call it a mass capture or passive capture. So, and then we again tried in 2015 and we succeeded. So if Satkoshia unfortunately couldn't get success, doesn't mean we need to be disheartened. And all those IFS aspirant, many of you have attempted twice or thrice. So you should, I mean, you have not stopped in your appearing exam. Na? So is this conservation. It's a very difficult, very difficult. It requires a lot of effort persistent effort by a lot of officers. So Panna happened because of Mr. Murthy, Mr. Parihar, and so many other officers. Sariska succeeded because of so many other officers. So when Satkoshia's time will come, I think Satkoshia will also get success.
We can take one or two more questions on this. Anil, you raised your hand. Please ask your question.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Anil, please.
Sir, are there any direct conflict between tiger and other apex predators like cheetah or leopard?
Look, that is you just take your timeline to maybe 1650 or maybe 1700, when in same landscape, tiger, leopard, cheetah, and lion, all the four big cats were thriving. So you see, there is something called niche, and all the species have their own niche. So a tiger loves to remain in the wooded area where it can hide and it can ambush its prey. And you must be aware that tiger can't run for more than 30-40 meters. Leopards also prefer to remain in such habitat where tiger lives, wooded and very undulated terrain where they can hide. But leopard knows it cannot match to the strength of tiger. So whenever it may kill, it takes to treetop to save its prey. So in the same wood, a tiger and leopard can negotiate. Up comes to the lion and cheetah. They both prefer open scrubby forest. They avoid being in very dense forest like, and cheetah has a strategy to run, to chase its prey, and it can chase for long. Whereas lion has a strategy to make a pride and always remain in group, so that it can compete with, a tiger or any other predator. So all the four species have their different survival strategies, and this only is called niche. So they know what to eat and what not to eat.
Anil,
I don't know.
Some last question. I joined late. So any approximate territorial area of a single tiger, sir?
Okay. I think Anil, आपके दो device कर दे.
Sir, territorial area of a single tiger individual.
Anil, please mute yourself.
So a territorial area of a tiger depends upon the availability of prey. So like my tiger reserve, I have seen a tiger is using only 10 to 12 square kilometer area, because Pench has one of the highest density of ungulate. We have about 69 spotted deer per square kilometer, which is among the highest in India. Whereas if you have a less prey density, so just a couple of days before I was at Satpura, there is one tiger who covers about 400 square kilometer area. So Satpura has much less prey density. That is why from Pench we are shifting many spotted deer to Satpura to increase, to augment their prey density. So it is subject to the availability of food, availability of mating partner, and other habitat traits. It can be from 10 square kilometer to maybe 400 square kilometer for a male tiger. Female can be even 10, can be 5 only.
Jatin, maybe you can ask
Yes,
one
sir.
question.
Sir, good morning, sir. I am from Chhattisgarh, and despite having one of the largest forest cover, similar to Madhya Pradesh, we are having very less tiger number, that is 19 according to 2018 census. So can you say some of the reason behind the same, why we are having less tiger in Chhattisgarh?
Oh, so this session is also being recorded, so I'll not be try not to be very harsh, but I think the management initiative need to be strengthened in Chhattisgarh to increase the tiger population and to make their habitat as good as Madhya Pradesh. Because you see, Bhoram Dev is very next to Kanha, and the Chilpi used to be the buffer of Kanha. But see today, hardly there is any tiger except for the one who are dispersing from here. Then you have such a beautiful habitat in Chhattisgarh. as an Achanak Mar. It is, in terms of the quality of the habitat, none less than Kanha or even better than Kanha. But there is a huge amount of disturbance. Villages are there, and the government is unable to do the voluntary relocation successfully. All the wrong factors are in full this thing, full bloom. So that is causing a lot of disturbance in the habitat, and that is why, be it Guru Ghasidas. You see, there used to be one Sanjay Tiger Reserve, split it into two half. On the other side, Guru Ghasidas, this side Sanjay Dubri. But Sanjay Dubri is faring good. Now we have already relocated some 20 plus villages, and there are about 30 tigers now. Often tigers from Sanjay goes to Guru Ghasidas, but still there is not a significant resident population over there. So I think there are some management issues, and the management issues are not doing the village relocation and other type of management in an efficient manner, I guess.
Extremism is also one of the cause for the lesser tiger number.
Jatin, I could not hear you properly. Can you please come up again?
Sir, can we say that the prevalence of left-wing extremism in Chhattisgarh is also one of the reason for the lesser tiger number?
I could not. Mayank, can you?
Sir, I think he's asking that the presence of left-wing extremism is also is it one of the reason for low tiger number?
So unfortunately, left-wing extremism is there, but mostly in the southern part of the state, not in northern part of the state. So, but yes, you can factor that also.
Thank you, sir.
But that is not the prime reason. That may fall at 7th or 8th place to me.
Sir, like if you can briefly, okay, sir. If is it possible, like you use the word relocation and how important it is for conservation. So, sir, like even in case study, they ask us a lot of time in interviews that as a forest officer, how will you convince the people? Like generally, we think that the people will not agree to move out of the village. So, sir, when you go to the field, and how do you deal with them? How do you convince them to move out of forest happily?
So, to best of my understanding, because I've done couple of village relocation in Kanha and big villages, so I realize people are always very unsure, and that is very obvious. One can understand. Shifting your base is not an easy thing. Even the government official, those who know that after 3 years they'll get transferred, but still at the time of transfer, they feel that they should stay 1 or 2 years more. But the other forces also, demotivate them not to go. So one thing during my, efforts, I realize all these public representatives, they feel that, such village people are my voter, and, if they will go where they will settle, and I'll lose my vote. So one thing is to convincing all these, small time politician, maybe a sarpanch or ward member. And we used to explain them, look, the kind of village you live, you don't have much of money. And when these people will get money, ultimately the money will be pumped in your economy. And this is how your village economy or the Nagari Panchayat economy will get benefited. So it helped a lot. And also, the first relocation is always very difficult task, because then you need to put a lot of effort. But once your first relocation is successful, and when people see that their own relatives or neighbor are elevated to certain level, they also want to replicate the same. So Kanha, when we relocated Jami in 2009-10, we have to put a lot of effort. But the kind of qualitative change there was in life of the Jami people, then Role, Bitli, Benda, Sukri, Jola, Rajanpur, everybody was, trying to achieve to that level. Something similar happened at Satpura. So people are not stupid. They also understand what is good and bad. Though they have a lot of apprehensions about the government system and the machinery. They feel that they are telling us that we'll get 15 lakh rupees, but they will ditch us. So as an individual, as an official, we need to make them believe that what we are saying is a statutory provision and we are not going to deviate from this. And once you will do a good relocation of one village, I think your job is very easy.
Sir,
think enough?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, we can also talk a little bit of human wildlife interface. So, sir, like in general, what are the animals which are most involved in your opinion? And sir, what are the best practices? How does forest department respond whenever there is any interaction or maybe a conflict?
So I think the animal which is in maximum conflict is an elephant. Unfortunately, now Madhya Pradesh also has, but most of these, elephant-related conflict is in the state of Karnataka, Kerala, part of Tamil Nadu, and then the eastern states like Odisha, Bihar, Jharkhand, not Bihar, Odisha, Jharkhand, and Pashchim Bengal. So, because the elephants are long-ranging animal, and there is so much of deterioration in their habitat, there is so much of fragmentation. So if they are venturing from one forest to another forest, maybe 1 or 2 or 10 villages fall in their route. And when they see there is a lot of food available in terms of harvest of the village, or maybe the kacha mahua liquor being brewed, they also love a lot. So they venture into village for easy food, and that is causing a kind of conflict. At times it is very sad situation, human deaths, property loss, and everything. But I think the government of Chhattisgarh is doing really good to give good compensation when it comes to elephant related conflict. Even the government of Karnataka and all these government, they are doing very good when it comes to elephant related conflicts. The compensation mechanism of Madhya Pradesh is not that good, because we have just started experiencing elephant related conflict, and still we have to devise a better mechanism. The second animal I believe in conflict is wild pig, but unfortunately people don't talk much about that. But the kind of crop raiding wild pig and a blue bull they are causing, it's huge. It's huge. And different state government has come up with a different mechanism to compensate that. Again, I'll say Madhya Pradesh is not that good. One of the area where Madhya Pradesh still need to improvise upon. But I've seen southern states have done fairly good when it comes to compensating the crop damage, and even the eastern state and other they are really good. Then comes the conflict with the carnivore tiger and leopard. In this regard, and maybe bear also, which is omnivore, but often it ventures and it causes injuries. So to mitigate this, Madhya Pradesh has done fairly good, because we are experiencing a tiger related conflict since long. Maharashtra has also done very good. And just to give you a number, that Chandrapur district has about 50 plus deaths annually. So every week there is one death by a tiger. And if you make this comparison with Madhya Pradesh, whole of Madhya Pradesh has about 40-45 deaths by all kind of wild animal in a year. So just compare one district with one state, and the state is also kind of a state with maximum number of tiger, leopard, and all these wild animal. But despite the fact, the government of Maharashtra has done very good job. So their compensation is very good, and it is very quick, and the kind of awareness mechanism it requires to make the communities realize why it is happening and why they should not get panicked despite the death of some near and dear of their family member. So these are the few initiatives the state governments are doing. But as the population of animal is increasing and human population is increasing even in manifold, and the tendency of people to enter inside the forest for their requiring is not stopping. So conflict is, kind of increasing trend is there.
Okay, sir. So is there any other question on man-animal conflict anybody want to ask?
Apurva Singh and Ujjwal Dubey. Ujjwal, you may ask.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, Ujjwal.
Sir, how is the compensation decided by the government?
Like, I'm not able to listen. Like, maybe the problem is by network.
So I'm saying how the compensation has been decided by the government.
Okay. Ujjwal, I think we spoke before, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you are from Katangi and we are doing a bear rescue very next to your village only. Okay, just that rescue operation is going
Great,
on.
great.
So,
Okay.
the compensation, like, different state has different mechanism. And so like Madhya Pradesh gives, for every human death, Madhya Pradesh give 8 lakhs rupees to the family of deceased, whereas government of Maharashtra give 20 lakhs rupees. There are other government who still give 4 lakhs rupees. So different states have decided, as per the socio-economic dynamics of their state. And then for most of the states, provision regarding the injuries that the government bear the cost of the treatment, and maybe 500 rupees a day or so being given to the person because he is losing his employment. And for cattle, like Madhya Pradesh has, as per the revenue book, whatever norms are there, so the person whose cattle been killed by a tiger or a leopard, he along with the forest guard and the local panchayat member, they all discuss and they finalize. And the underlying message is, for the forest department, you have to be generous. If you feel that the cattle was only for 5,000 rupees and he is asking 6,000 rupees, be lenient. Because there is a lot of trauma is also there. He need to buy a new cattle, which may be little more expensive. So the cattle is as per the revenue book of records. And for human death in Madhya Pradesh, it is 8 lakh. Rajasthan, I remember, 20 lakh. And different states have different, provisions for the same.
And sir, if some crops are damaged, there should be some estimation or what, sir?
So for crop also there is a mechanism, and as I was telling, crop damage mechanism in Madhya Pradesh is not at all effective, and there is a lot of hue and cry. Because what happens, the provision which the Madhya Pradesh government is still using is the provision of natural calamity. So if there is a flood, if there is a fire in the farmland, so in those situations, whole of the crop get damaged, or maybe 50% or maybe 25%. Whereas when it comes to crop damage by the wild animal, they don't eat like that. They may be like, once you have sown the seed, wild pig will come and they will eat all the seed. Very difficult to gauge the loss. And then if the paddy has just sprouted, some deer will come and nibble all the sprouting. So difficult to gauge that. But that's the problem. Another state provision I need to check, but I'll suggest all the aspirant to kindly go through, because different states have come up with different solutions, and especially Maharashtra, I was told, is very good, and all these southern states, they have done good job in this regard.
Apur?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. My question was that, sir, can we have any technology solutions to counter this or to tackle this issue of human-wildlife conflict?
Yes, we can have technology, solution. So like this is what we are doing in Bhopal. I guess you guys must be aware that Bhopal city limits have more than 20 tigers. So it's like, very difficult to digest, but that's the fact that Bhopal city limits have this many tigers. And there is something called EI. So very good quality, cameras are mounted on very tall towers, and they are like, motion sensors, and even they have artificial intelligence enabled. So they can really identify that it is a tiger or this is a human being or something else. And they issue, some kind of alert to the official over there. And that's how they start, patrolling in that area. If any tiger is venturing close to the habitation. So a tiger being in city limit doesn't mean that always a tiger is next to your household. Within the city limit, and the kind of city Bhopal is, there is a lot of, forested area within the city limit. And Bhopal tiger are very studious. So often those big education institute or engineering college, they love to refuse in that there's a college of excellence, and that MSCT is there, and few other colleges, they have acres of land within them, and most of it is like a jungle. So tiger take refuge in those jungles. And so we are using those technology in Bhopal. But yeah, those technologies are very expensive, and government has always a budget constraint. But still some research is also going on to understand the movement pattern of animal outside the PA. So why certain season or why certain time, certain place, there is more number of cattle kill or confrontation. If we can develop a kind of simulation, and we can gauge that yes, there is a probability that in coming 10 days there can be some conflict, so we can always keep the mitigation measures in place beforehand. So some of the research are also going on, and I'm hoping that in years to come we'll be having many more technology based solution for mitigating the human wildlife conflict.
Thank you, sir.
So, sir, we can move to other theme.
Yeah, Cheetah.
Yes, sir.
So briefly, I'll tell you the background of Cheetah when all it started. First, very interesting thing I would like to share with everyone. When 2 years before I was in head office, Bhopal headquarters, and Cheetah were, already we started preparation of Cheetah reintroduction program. So myself, along with one of my fellow officer, we said that once the Cheetah will be there, and if any offense will happen against the Cheetah, what will happen? Where we will book the case? So we should suggest to government that Cheetah should be included in the schedule of the Wildlife Act. And we opened the Wildlife Act to our surprise, and we were negligent and ignorant that Cheetah is already mentioned in the Wildlife Act. Though in 1972 there was not a single cheetah in India, despite the fact the name of cheetah, and that too not the subspecies of India. The generic name for the cheetah, I'm just unable to recall the scientific name of cheetah, but that covers the African variant as well as Indian variant. So it was a smart move by a government, and I guess it was a deliberate attempt, because Mr. Ranjit Singh, who was behind all this litigation for cheetah introduction, was Secretary Forest in 1972, and he's instrumental in formation of Wildlife Protection Act. So maybe it was in his mind since 1972 when he was still in service that someday we need to introduce cheetah in India. But the actual effort is started only after the land introduction program started rolling. Then all the people, those who were thinking that to save our grassland and grassland ecology, we need to introduce cheetahs also. And this was maybe 2001 or 2. And then they started looking for a suitable habitat. And also Asiatic cheetah was only available in Iran. So the dialogue with the Iran also started. And in 2006 or 7, Iran also gave conditional consent that yes, we are ready to give you cheetah, but in lieu of that, you have to give us lion. A lion, we understand, we are not ready to spare for another state. So getting, shifting lion to another country, that to Iran, was just out of question. That's so all those talks been stopped. And then they started thinking of getting African cheetah. And during that time, the expert committee, after exploring all these habitats, realized that Noradehi will be the most suitable place for cheetah introduction. This was in 2012 or 13, I guess. And the WIA also been giving mandate to do further, study in Noradehi. But in the meantime, somebody went to the Supreme Court and they said there is no point introducing a exotic species in Indian land. So the Honorable Supreme Court issued the stay order and everything got halted. 13 or 14. Then this fight was on and on and on. And in 2021, 21 or 20. Okay. Kindly check whether it was January 20 or January 21. Honorable Supreme Court given a verdict, an interim order, under which it says that they formed an expert committee, and the expert committee has 4 members. So 2 members were by their name. So Mr. Ranjit Singh was there with his name, and Dr. Jhala with his personal capacity, his name, and Director Wildlife Institute of India, and a representative of NTCA. So 4-member committee been given the mandate to explore where they can introduce the cheetah. They have, explored many habitat, but the report says that. So the decision was come in 2020 and the report come in 2021. Okay, so the report has said that Kuno is ready to be, introduce cheetah. The three other places have something to be done. So they said that for Noradehi, you need to create a big enclosure, because already the government of Madhya Pradesh had introduced tiger, and initially the confrontation of tiger and leopard, cheetah would not be a good idea. So there has to be, we need to create a 200 square kilometer enclosure. And they said Gandhi Sagar and Mukundra, they are another suitable habitat. But the government of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh has to see something like a interstate coordination, because alone both are very small, and but together they are a good combination. But you need to do some pre-augmentation in Gandhi Sagar. So this was the recommendation, and because they said Kuno is almost ready, so then but there were few recommendation also. They said you need to remove some of the brushwood from the grassland, and there were few more things. So the government of Madhya Pradesh, with the support from the central government, started working on all those aspects, and that is how the cheetahs were now introduced initially in Kuno. But as per the report, in years to come, they'll also be introduced in other 3 places. But let's see what happens. Then the second thing is, if these deaths are like, a setback, or these were known. So to best of my understanding, these were known. So when first year they were talking about introducing 20 cheetahs, so to best of my memory, the 5 mortalities of adult cheetah were considered to be normal. And so still abhi to 3 hi hua hai. But also we must understand what are all the causes of death. So the first cheetah, I think her name was, she died of some renal problem, and she has that renal problem when she was in Namibia. And here it is important to emphasize that all the Namibian cheetahs, they were like a semi-captive condition. They were not free-ranging cheetahs. And all the African cheetahs, they are all free-ranging cheetahs. So initially they bought this Namibian because the scientists were of belief that already they are used to human presence around them, and they will easily adopt the Kuno situation, and they can handle the stress much better because they already live in a semi enclosed type of a situation. So they will start breeding fast. Whereas the one who will come from Africa, they are of purely wild origin, and even if we'll put them in enclosure for small time, they will be under stress and they will start their breeding much later. So it was so thoughtful decision that this particular cheetah was also earlier also she had delivered. So she was a very successful mother. So despite her whatever little issues she had, we bought them here. But unfortunately she died before delivering any cub. Then another cheetah got killed by another 2 male cheetah. And one was maybe there was some injury while she was, maybe running or some pathogen. Yet I haven't seen the report of second death of adult. And among all these, wild cat, there is a very high mortality. Not only cheetah, but tiger also. Cheetah ka to aur bhi zyada hai. So tiger mein 50% cubs within 6 months mar jate hain. Remaining mein se bhi 25-30% cub next 6 months mein mar jate hain. So by the end of a year, only 20-30% cubs remain alive. So ye tiger mein bhi hai, cheetah mein bhi hai. So till now, writing off that key project fail ho raha hai, it is little too early. As I said, all these conservation measures have a very long gestation period, and maybe we can gauge after 3 or 4 years that if it is successful or not successful. But as if now, whatever is going on, it is more or less as per the plan. Nothing is happening unplanned.
So you can ask question on cheetah if anybody has any doubt. So is this cheetah part of big cat family, right? We often hear in news.
Cheetah is very much part of the big cat family.
So, like in one of the newspaper only, I read like I also knew that the same, but they read that it is not part of big cat because it cannot roar or something like that. Uh, so that is why this question. So,
Big cat is also a kind of, very, what to say, a more of a literary term than a scientific term. But to me, these four and the jaguar, these are the big, big five, big, big cats, five big cats.
So, another very common query is like that. I don't know why, but some people are quoting that we have brought 20 cheetah to Kuno, and the carrying capacity about Kuno that they are too much or something like that. So, is there any scientific data for that, or is it just
So again, I'm not sure from where this carrying capacity concept has come. Obviously, cheetahs are long-ranging animal, and they will run, they will explore new territory, and they will stay in safe haven. But one must not forget that Kuno is 750 square kilometer, which is a considerably big area in comparison to Gandhi Sagar, which is just 360 square kilometers separated by a water body. So it's either of the lobe is just 180 kilometer. And you can check all these, PAs, all are, Indian. This is what is normal size of Indian national parks. That is one thing. Second, we must not forget that Shiopur is the only district in Madhya Pradesh which has more than 50% of its land mass is a forest. So Balaghat has 53% and Kuno, Shiopur district has about 52% of the land mass is a forest land. So that is why, and cheetah will not going to confine only in the Kuno. And today also they are not confined to Kuno. They are going to Shivpuri, they are going to Kuno, Guna district. So they are exploring their own territory. So till I don't think there is any study that what is the carrying capacity of cheetahs in Kuno, but they are exploring new area not because Kuno is small. It's only because it is their tendency to roam around.
okay? So, any other question on this? Anybody? Okay, sir. So I'll ask one last question, which was given by a student to me, and that question was regarding, sir, what, in your opinion, what is the biggest challenge our wildlife and forests are facing today? And sir, do you see any visible manifestation of climate change on our forest and wildlife already?
So wildlife, I cannot see any any changes which can be seen just by naked eyes. But yes, plants I can see their flowering time and their time of sprouting. All those has changed drastically. So that is to me that is the impact of climate change. And the first part of your question, what is the biggest challenge? So biggest challenge to me are two. First is that the population, and along with the population, the development demand of the country is huge. But more than this, are we ready to pay the price? So like again on NH44, the government of India was willing to create a mitigation worth thousands of crore, almost like 800 or 900 crore to save the Kana-Pech corridor. So we need such kind of willpower by our policy makers and official, those whose voice matters in every single wildlife area, because the kind of pressure we have of our increasing population, we need to invest a huge money to maintain the wildlife habitat safe and secure for posterity. So if we are ready to pay the price, I think even with the increasing population, we'll able to manage our wildlife. So these two are the big challenge.
So I think we have also reaching the time limit which sir spared for us. So maybe if you have another one question, one or two questions you can ask before we end the session. Sir, can we take one or two questions more?
1, 2, 3, whatever.
Okay.
Anil, kindly you can ask.
Yes, sir. So presently, our Indian laws are means they are sufficient to protect our nature and wildlife.
Yeah, our law. Anil, can you switch off? Yeah. Our law are very much capable of protecting our, wildlife and their habitat. And that is why, because you must be aware that International Wildlife Conference in sometime in 60s only, they have declared that tiger will going to vanish in another 20 years. But despite the fact, we have not only tigers and other wildlife thriving, but their population is increasing. So definitely there is a very significant role of the existing law and its in enforcement also. So they are very much capable of doing so.
Udayan?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I had a doubt that suppose if there is an epidemic inside a national park for a specific species, so as an officer posted there, what will be the course of action?
So in all the national park, good national park, we have veterinary experts. And whenever we come across any such symptoms of any disease, because, avian flu and other bird-related diseases are quite common these days. So there is a, set protocol by the veterinary expert what to do and how to do. Fortunately, till date, we haven't come across any mass mortality of any of the mammals. Even during the COVID time, there was a lot of halla about the COVID death by COVID, of a tiger and all. But nothing was true. But there are set protocol for the same. So if you want to detail of that protocol, so first, you need to reach out to that, animal with all kind of precaution. So, normally the doctor asks about the symptoms. If any of the staff has seen that bird dying, so based on that, they applied their due diligence and they took all the precaution and, take the carcass of that bird and send it to. There are a few labs which do, kind of report testing to find out what kind of disease it is. And then based on the finding that, test finding, the instruction being issued to the park managers and also to the communities who are, residing nearby. Like Abhi, that lumpy is prevailing in most of the cattle. So we are all in alarm because often the cattle enter inside the national park for grazing. So we also have instructed our forest guard to keep eye on if any physical signs of that disease been seen on any of the ungulate. God forbid, abhi tak nahi dikha hai, but yeah, we are keeping eye on that.
Okay, sir.
Yuktisha? You can please ask.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you, Yuktisha.
Sir, I have three questions. My first question is ecotourism or wildlife tourism responsible for man-animal conflict, or how much is it a factor? The wildlife tourism and safaris and things like that.
So first, you must understand that ecotourism is altogether different from wildlife tourism. Okay, these are two different terminology.
Sorry,
Often people, no, you shouldn't be sorry. I'm just, because the other day we were doing a monk and one of the candidate also used this term together. So ecotourism is something which is very low profile tourism. And, that is something not causing any disturbance or anything to the habitat. And also it is supporting the local and also adding a lot of knowledge, imparting a lot of knowledge to a visitor. So it's not only a leisure tourism. It has a lot of, that knowledge aspect is also involved, and it's very responsible in nature. So if you are going to a wilderness area and you are doing a camping and you are taking out all your litter along with you, and for the camping and you're cooking and you're trekking, you are hiring a local porter and you are giving him money and you are learning a lot about his traditional knowledge about the herbs and, other wild animal. So this will be like a ecotourism. And if you are coming to my Pench Tiger Reserve and staying in a hotel, रात को party कर रहे हो, सुबह gypsy से घूमने जा रहे हो, so that's a wildlife tourism. Okay.
Yes.
So, but in either case, I don't see any reason that why the tourism will lead to any kind of conflict. But if you have anything specific in mind, I'll request you to kindly ask. But otherwise, ecotourism definitely will not cause any, not attribute to any kind of conflict. Because if any kind of tourism is conflict, causing a conflict, it is not ecotourism. Then,
Sir, then my question, if about wildlife tourism, like I read in some articles that some tourists, they go and they irritate the elephants, so the elephant may attack the tourists and such cases.
there may be one or two incidences, but that is very sporadic. If you will take a data of say 100 cases,
Yes,
so how
sir.
many cases you will find then when a tourist irritated a animal or a tiger, and tiger or animal attacked on a tourist? Maybe just one or two. So
Correct.
majority of the conflict is not because of the tourism. Majority of conflict is because the wild animal and we are sharing a common resources. So if you see the all these hill states, especially Uttarakhand, so instead of villages, they have hamlets and like 8-10 houses, and there is a natural spring is there. So all those households also taking water from that spring, and bear is also coming to the spring, and that leopard is also coming to the spring, and that is why there are sometimes negative interaction. So if you'll see in Chhattisgarh and eastern part of Madhya Pradesh, bear, they feed on a lot of wild fruit. We also collect those wild fruit. Bear also want honey. We also want honey. So it's basically we want to snatch some of their resources, and we are entering inside their habitat to take some portion of their resources. So that is the main cause of the conflict, not the tourism for sure.
Thank you, sir. So my second question is, as women in IFS, what special role we can have, or what special challenges we'll face, and how can we contribute towards women empowerment as an IFS
So
officer?
to best of my understanding, the present day society and especially the forest fraternity, as in women, I don't think there is any additional challenge one faces as as compared to their male counterpart. Challenges are almost similar, but
Yes, sir.
yes, they can contribute much more than their male counterpart, especially not at the level of an IFS officer. But many times I've seen my forest guard, my male forest guard, whenever he will convene a meeting of a village, JFMC, less number of people will come or women will not come at all. Whereas whenever a women will convene a meeting, male will also come and female will also come. And
Yes.
women workforce are always considered to be more honest, more hardworking, and more duty-minded, more genuine. So the villagers also listen to them more carefully than the men counterpart. So they have added advantage over their male counterpart, I guess. But as
Yes.
the challenge is, an IFS officer is at very senior position, and whenever they move inside forest, they have 10 staff to support them. But think of a lady forest guard. Often she is walking inside the forest alone, or maybe with male chowkidar, and offender maybe 10. But despite the fact, never ever come across a situation when the lady was not able to handle that situation. Every time, those lady forest guard or the deputy ranger, they handle it very successful.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So my last question will be that
Yeah.
as an IFS officer, where do I see the forests and wildlife in 10 years from now? Like, what special points can be included in this answer?
So as a forest officer, what I see 10 years from now, there will be a lot of ecotourism than the kind of wildlife tourism it is happening. And I'm telling this because you asked this question.
Thank
So
you,
now
sir.
people are, after this post-pandemic, everybody has become more conservation conscious. Everybody realize the significance of going to
One.
forest and experiencing those virtues which are otherwise missing. And also, I'm seeing things in terms of the quality of the wild and wilderness area. It will going to be enhanced a lot. But also, what I'm seeing is there will be huge number of plantations in the years to come, because many development projects are coming, and under this FCA you will get lot of land to be planted. But a plantation and a forest, these are two different entities, and it will take
Yes.
decades for those plantation to become a forest. So that is a big challenge, that as a forest officer, what we need to do to ensure that those plantations will convert into a forest in earliest possible time, so that ecological balance should be maintained despite huge number of human population increase, because the kind of human population increase in India and our development aspiration also increasing in leap and bounds, forest
Yes.
otherwise going to face a lot of challenge also by this increasing population.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Jignesh, you can ask a question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I am from Gujarat, and I have a question regarding lion relocation. Whether it should be done or not, and if it is done, then how will it impact the project, the relocation of Cheetah, because the site is Kuru National Park. So, can you please share your views on that?
So as I was telling, had the lion been or any other tiger been problem for leopard, so they both cannot thrive together. So even in Gir, you have lion and leopard both surviving in the same landscape. In central Indian landscape, tiger and leopards are surviving, and in African landscape, all these three species surviving. So basically, presence of two species doesn't affect each other. Everybody knows its limit, and you just see what was there 200 or 300 years before. All these species were surviving well. So personally, I don't see that if a lion will be introduced there, so that will affect the cheetah or the leopard or the tiger population. That will not going to happen. And you also understand that this whole thing has a very complex dynamics. Maybe in a public domain, I would not like to discuss much about this, but yeah, if you can take my phone number and we can discuss in much detail in length.
Harshav.
Yes, sir. So, sir, my question is that recently I visited Sanjay Gandhi National Park, and there I saw that tiger is kept in enclosure. But I remember I visited Ranthambore 3-4 years back, and there tiger was in the open. So, in what conditions, like in National Park, tiger or lion is kept in enclosure?
So, which Sanjay Park you are talking about? The one in Madhya Pradesh or one in Maharashtra?
Maharashtra, Mumbai.
Mumbai. So Mumbai, I'm not sure that which tiger you saw inside enclosure, but often there are situations. So if you come to Madhya Pradesh also, you will find occasionally there are one or two individual are inside the enclosure. It may be because of their treatment. It may be because of their rewilding process is still on. It may be because that animal was in conflict for some time, and they just want to rescue it so that it can be saved. So these 2-3 reasons comes to my mind, and I can give you a specific example also. So Kanha, we have a rewilding center. So orphan cubs been rescued, and they've been kept in that rewilding enclosure for 2-3 years, and we have evolved that technique to, without being with mother, they've been taught how to make hunt and how to survive in wild, and then we release them. So if you'll see them in between, you will find that there is a tiger inside the enclosure. Often,
okay, thank you.
So these are the few reasons, I guess. Yeah. But otherwise, tiger has to be in free ranging area condition.
So, sir, now I don't think there is any other question. If there is any other question, you can ask. We can take maybe the last question.
Mayank, you mentioned somebody who worked in Sivni, and he has some question. Is he there?
Raj Bahadur, are you here?
I guess he is not here.
Like, I can see him, but maybe Raj Bahadur, do you want to ask something specifically regarding Pench?
So I guess one last question from Anil.
Yes, sir. So, as we know, these migratory birds bring certain diseases like canine distemper. So, we allow them to reside in our bird sanctuaries and all. So, is it like any
So,
negative
but how you
implications are there?
how you going to stop those migratory birds to come even if they are carrier of some disease?
So, any measures to avoid like spread of diseases widespread?
I don't think there is any measure. No. Never come across something like this.
Sir, one last question. Like he has asked couple of time on the chat that it is regarding Great Indian Bustard. So he's like Dinesh is asking, can we replicate Project Tiger model for Great Indian Bustard?
So Dinesh, hello.
Yes, sir.
Where is Dinesh? Can I hear him?
Hello. Yes, sir.
Dinesh, what exactly you mean by this? Because I read that question. I think you text there also. So, but briefly, I'll tell you, we are already working hard on Great Indian
Yes,
Bustard.
sir. I was reading somewhere that like Project Tiger.
So briefly, I'll tell you what we are doing and why we are doing. So look, Project Tiger was about a terrestrial animal. So first you need to protect the territory, and that's why they declared, these tiger reserves, and the habitat management and manipulation work was going on, and tiger population increased. Whereas the problem of Great Indian Bustard was altogether different. So one thing, its habitat was declining very fast, and number was also declining very fast. So we have already realized the problem, and now a breeding center, breeding facility has already in working in Rajasthan, close to Jaisalmer. And once there will be sizable population, they will start releasing the birds from there. And if this model will be successful, I'm hoping to see more breeding center of Great Indian Bustard. And then a bird is a free-ranging bird. So wherever it will find conducive situation, it will fly and stay over there. So you really don't need to replicate the Project Tiger model, but for bird there has to be a different model which is already in place.
Okay, sir.
I just saw this Raj Bahadur Meena. Raj Bahadur, you are there now. Kindly ask your question. I'm excited to hear from you. एक और है भाष्वता सेखिया.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
please.
So my question was related to Great Indian Bustard only, based on what you said. So one question was asked that if we have to protect that species, we have to put the wires underground or make some diversion structure, things like that. So that may cost like crore of rupees. So the question was, is it worth doing it just for like a bird? Like, what's the benefit of doing that? Or how do you make sense of financial constraint versus protecting a species or protecting an animal?
So your question, the answer of your question can be framed in multiple ways, but I like to frame. Normally we play with kids a game called Web of Life, and in that through the play we create a kind of crisscross net of thread among a circle of 30-40 kids, and so each kid represent a element of nature. So maybe a frog, or maybe a a tiger, or maybe a sun or water, something like that. And then we ask the kid that which is less important, and they say that so frog is not that important, or mosquito is not that important. So we ask that kid to move away. So overall, slowly your string will get weaker. So something similar, each species has a significance. Okay, and the Great Indian Bustard is indicator of health of your grasslands, and the government efforts, Herculean effort to introduce cheetah, or to revival of the GIB and the revival of the lesser florican, is all to protect your grassland ecology. which is, we have a huge demand for farmland. And the first piece of land which gets sacrificed for your farmland is the grasslands only, natural grassland. So, we human are greedy people. We are not doing anything for sake of doing or to, benefiting a species. Our scientists have very good understanding that every single species has a role to play in this ecosystem. And if that particular species or its habitat will move away from today, maybe the impact will be visible after 100 or 200 years. So ultimately, apparently it will look that spending 10 crore for GIB is not a wise idea. But, if you'll open the layers of the science, you will realize, no, it is a wise idea to save the species. A lot of research to be done in this regard still.
So it's clear now.
So I think Raj Bahadur is here. You want to ask anything?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
please.
actually, in Sydney, I worked on large processing unit with Forest Department in Janamkhari. So,
Okay,
sir,
good.
can you tell me what is the status? What is the present status of that large processing unit? Is it still functioning or closed?
So I am to, hearing from you only about this large processing unit. I need to find out where exactly this exists. But to best of my knowledge, there is no large unit.
In Janamkhari, sir. In Janamkhari, the Forest Department has this.
So I'll find it out and let you know.
And sir, one more question, sir. They are asking about if you have visited any forest. So which forest can you mention, south or north? It means in Janamkhari, I think it is in north, south forest. Kurai.
Yeah, so Kurai is south forest.
Yes, sir. And sir, we are taking some initiatives to propagate tourism through Mowgli. So, sir, can you tell me about some initiatives?
So yes, in the year 2000, the government of Madhya Pradesh realized that Pench has a huge potential to promote tourism in this part of Madhya Pradesh. And then officers realized that we must use Mowgli as a kind of, a hook to introduce. So prior to that, everybody has believed that the Mowgli story has inspiration from forest of Kanha. The way everybody believes that the story of White Tiger has something to do with Bandhavgarh. The fact is it has something to do with Sanjay Dubri forest area. So similarly, then a lot of effort being done to make everybody realize that the story of Jungle Book has inspiration from forest of Sivni, not of forest of Kanha. And since then, in the year 2000, 2003, there were hardly 10 to 12,000 tourists used to come in a year. Tourist revenue was close to 50 lakhs rupees a year. And nowadays, tourism revenue is close to 10 crores. And a majority of that is coming from tourism in buffer area. I mean, a significant, not the majority, but significant amount is coming from the buffer area tourism and non-conventional activities like, jungle walk and cycling and stuff like that. So that is the status of tourism, in Pench as if now. But if you have anything or more specific question, you can take my mobile number and you can reach out to me, not a problem.
Yes, sir. If you can share mobile number, I will ask.
So I think, can we wrap up? Ujjwal still has a question, but Ujjwal, because I am also getting a lot of phone and from my staff, because as I told, in your area only there is a bear rescue going on. So please excuse me, and if you need, you can reach out to me through my phone. I request whoever requires, you kindly share my phone number.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. So we can end the session here, sir. So it is always great, great learning, listening to you. Thank you, sir, for your time and your insights. And I'm very sure that all these insights and information will give the needed conviction, clarity, and sensitivity to the forest interview appearing students, sir. Thank you, sir, from everyone. Sir.
All the best to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.